Okay, so for this podcast lesson, we're going to be talking about how to put numbers in scientific notation. Alright, once again, they use it a lot in science. It's a way to take really long numbers and write it in a shorter, quicker way. Okay? So, probably want to put this on your paper to help you. Scientific notation, this is the formula for it. C times 10, E is for the exponent. Okay? And basically, here's what these mean. C stands for coefficient, so you're going to need the number in the front, but this number has to be between 1 and 10. We're going to have to make some changes to it to make it between 1 and 10. It's always times 10. That never changes. And then the E stands for the exponent. And in this case, the exponent means the number of jumps. Okay, right now you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you'll see. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do here. Number 1, this first example. Okay? The directions tell us to write each number in scientific notation. And just so you can kind of be less confused later. So, scientific notation looks like this. Okay? All these numbers right now are what we call standard form. You see that down here? So if it's a regular number, that's what they mean by standard form. So we're going to take it from standard form and put it into scientific notation. Okay? So, as you can see, this is 0.000000786. Okay? I can write this in a much easier way. So, what I like to do is, because you're going to need to know which one is the old decimal and which one is the new decimal where you put it. So I like to put an X on top of the decimal where it is now. Okay? So that's a good idea to do that. Now what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to move the decimal so that the number means, remember the rule is between 1 and 10. Okay? So watch, if I try this, now you don't need to necessarily write this, but if I put the decimal at the end, that would say 786 and then the decimal. And that says 786. That's way too big. I want it between 1 and 10, right? So what if I slide the decimal over in front of the 6? Well, let's think about what that means. 78.6. Still too big. That's way bigger than 10, right? Let's try one more space over. 7.86. That's what I want. That's like money. $7.86. That's between $1 and $10. So, that's kind of the idea. We need to move the decimal to make it between 1 and 10. So I want my decimal right there. Okay? So now I have to take this information and put it into this format. Okay? So this is now my C number, 7.86. So you see what we've done is we've taken all these zeros and numbers and shortened it to just 7.86. It's always times 10. Okay? And now the E is the exponent, which is the number of jumps. So here's what that means. I'm going to take, and you start your pencil on the decimal where you moved it. We moved it here, right? The X is the old one. It's like a treasure map. You have to go to the X is where the treasure is. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go to the X. And we're going to jump. Every jump is over a number. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 jumps. Okay, so that's kind of messy down there, but it was 7 jumps. You notice I don't go all the way to the front. I stop where the old decimal was. Now remember in graphing, if I go this way it's positive, if I go this way it's negative. Same thing. Because I jumped left, it's a negative 7. Okay? Alright, let's try number 2 here. Okay? Let's see, number 2. Now, here's an important point about this one. This decimal, okay, or this number, I should say, has no decimal. This is 3,940. So here's what you need to remember. If you do not see a decimal on a number, that means the decimal is at the end. Okay? And so in this case, the X is here. The old decimal is here. So remember, I need to drop a decimal to make this number between 1 and 10. So think about where we can put it. I want to put it right here, because that's $3.94. That's between 1 and 10. So my C number in the front is 3.94 times 10, And now my e is my exponent, which is my number of jumps. Start on the decimal, go back to the x. 1, 2, 3. And because we went right, it's a positive 3. Okay? Alright, let's try a couple more here. Number 3. This one's going to be kind of a trick question. Look at this number, 4.7. Do I need to move the decimal? No, it's actually already in the right place, because 4.7 is between 1 and 10. So I keep that, times 10, exponent's the number of jumps. Did I have to jump? No, it's already there. So the exponent's 0. Okay? Alright, now this next very large number. This is 1,260,000. No decimal. Remember, when there's no decimal, it means it's at the end. So I'll put my x at the end. Now, where am I going to drop my decimal to make it between 1 and 10? I'm going to put it right here between the 1 and the 2. 1.26, $1.26. That's between 1 and 10. And then it's always times 10. And then, number of jumps. Start on the new decimal, hop back to the x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the right, therefore it's positive. Okay? Alright, now the next one. So, now we got this number, 0.06. I see my old decimal. I'm going to put an x on it. Now we need to move the decimal. Now, if I move it here, it's going to say 0.6. That's like 60 cents. That's less than $1. That's not enough. I'm going to put it here at the end, 6. So, I can write this two ways. I can write it as 6, or I can write it as 6.0. It means the same thing. But I always got to do times 10. Now let's go get our jumps. Start on the decimal, go to the x. 1 jump, 2 jumps, and because we went left, it's a negative 2. Okay? Alright, last example, number 6. Okay? 175, I don't see a decimal. That means it's once again in the back. That's when it's invisible. I need to drop my decimal to make 175, to make it between 1 and 10. I'll put it between the 1 and the 7. That's 1.75, like $1.75. So that's my front number, 1.75 times 10. Let's get our jumps for our exponent. Start on the decimal, hop to the x, 1, 2, positive because we went to the right. Okay? So that's how you take numbers from standard form and put it into scientific notation. Okay? So basically you are going to go to this page and practice that here where it says to write them in scientific notation. Okay?